Welcome back to the Lions Den Sports Podcast. I'm Chase Gispert alongside
Troy Allen.
And man, we got breaking news out of the NBA. We mentioned it yesterday, and here it is. As promised, we're going to deliver on an episode. Damian Lillard to Milwaukee. That's going to be our main topic. But we're kind of going to just talk about the NBA all-season landscape as the season's like, what, about a month away?
Yeah. Preseason starts in a couple weeks, actually.
Yeah.
I think so.
So, man, I guess first you can start us off, Troy. What was your reaction when you heard that? Because I think everyone, including myself, thought he was going to Miami.
Yeah, same here. So basically, it was like around lunchtime, and I pulled up to like KFC to get me a little sandwich. And as I'm in the drive-through, I get a notification from Bleacher Report. Dame to the Bucks. Like, what? No, like it had to be fake. I'm like, that's something you see in 2K. You know what I'm saying? Like that's something you. Oh, what if Giannis and Dame were teammates? Ain't like make a sim on 2K but yeah, Dame is on the Bucks for real. And the trade and the full trade package, real quick, is Bucks get Dame obviously, Drew Holiday, DeAndre Ayton, Toumani Camara. And a 2029 Bucks first-round draft pick goes to the Blazers. And the Suns actually are the third team. They get Yusuf Nurkic, Grayson Allen, Keon Johnson, and Nasir Little. They all go to the Suns. So that's a complete package right there. And I'm gonna start with the Bucks real quick. The three main weaknesses that the Bucks had coming into this season pre-Dame trade was they needed more shooting, they needed more shot creation, and they needed more playmaking. And that's Damian Lillard wrapped up into one. Last season, averaging 32 points per game, I believe, which was second in the NBA. As a matter of fact, that's the highest points per game mark for a point guard over 30. Wow. So he had a career year last year, averaged 7 assists per game last year as well, on phenomenal splits, 46% from the field, 37% from 3 on 10 attempts, and 91% from the free throw line. So he's coming off a career year, a very historical season, very efficient. And so everything that the Bucks need, they got in Dame. Now their defense will take a hit, especially considering Drew Holiday. He's one of the best point guard defenders in like the modern NBA. So their defense will take a hit, but I think the offensive gap is just the offensive gap makes up for it. So and by the way, the Bucks were able to keep all their key pieces. Like they kept Middleton, they kept Lopez, they kept Bobby Portis, Pat Connaughton. Right. So with a new head coach and with getting an elite player like Damian Lillard, I think next 2 to 3 to 4 years for Milwaukee is very fruitful, in my opinion. Yeah,
I agree. Last season without Lillard, I think the Blazers would have unquestionably been the worst team in the league, hands down. But yeah, he's a superstar. He finally made an all. Was this his first All-Star last year or second?
No,
I know he always seemed to get snubbed. The Western Conference though has been loaded the last.
He's been an All-Star a couple of times, but like there was like a 3-year stretch where he did get snubbed simply because Steph, Harden, and Russ kept having historical seasons.
Yeah, the West has been stacked in terms of that. Now he goes to the East, but it's more balanced now, I'd say, both conferences. But no, yeah, huge. I mean, shockwaves to the league. Everyone thought he was a Miami Heat lock. Would have been exciting to see him and Jimmy Buckets get together, but him and Giannis going to be just as excited, if not more. Looking at the trade, I actually kind of like what the Suns did. Obviously, they're not going to get the publicity, but they got a lot of – I didn't realize how many role players they got. To a much they needed that because they have superstars. Obviously, they already had Devin Booker. You went and got KD last year, and then you bring in Bradley Beal, star-studded scoring ability. Obviously, elite, but didn't really have much depth behind it. But now you had a bunch of depth, so I kind of like what they did. But yeah, I mean, the Bucks. I think we looked at the odds. They're the favorite now. No surprise. I mean. I think that is the best duo in the league. I know you're a huge Lakers fan, so LeBron and AD, but just more because they're a little younger, is why I'd go with Giannis and Dame. But man, I mean, things just got interesting with that.
Oh yeah, most definitely. And to say that they're the best duo in the league, that's a fair take in my opinion. That pick and roll is gonna be like unstoppable, man. Like, and the thing is, you can't really double anyone on that Milwaukee team because like if you double up on Giannis, well, you got open shots from either Middleton or Dame. If you double Dame, it's an open dunk for Giannis or open shot for Middleton. If you you can't really double. Defenses are really going to have their hands full trying to guard that offense. And like I said, their pick and roll is going to be crazy. Like, just imagine a high pick and roll, and it's either a 35-footer from Dame or it's a lob poster from Giannis. Like even if those two things get stopped, you still got Middleton in a corner. Mm-hmm. And by the way, he's a shot creator too. He's not just a spot up guy. He can go out and get his own shot. So that Milwaukee offense is just insane. And Giannis last season, I know his playoff numbers weren't great, but that was mainly because he missed.
He was playing injured too.
Yeah. He played injured, and he played like 10 minutes in Game 1 versus the Heat, and then they got hurt, and that really tanked the stats. Mm-hmm. But in the regular season, he averaged 31, 12, and 6 last year, shooting 53% from the field. So that's insane. But that kind of wraps up like the Giannis and Dame talk. To get into the other stuff with we could talk about Jrue Holiday and Ayton real quick. So Ayton, he does go to Portland. I think I think that's a good move by the Blazers. Ayton, he's still in his mid-20s, and although he's not the guy because he was picked number 1 overall in his draft in 2018, and although he's not the guy we thought he would be, he can still give you 17 and 12 on good efficiency. So that's worth something in the NBA. And like I said, he is in his mid-20s. So going to the Blazers with Scoot, that gives him a pick-and-roll partner, along with having Shaedon Sharpe as a wing player, along with having Anthony Simons, who's had back-to-back seasons averaging over 20 points now. The Blazers got a good young core. They did. And they just signed Jeremy Grant to a $160 million contract. Mm-hmm. I don't know if he's going to get flipped or not because that was like a low-key win-now move. So I don't know if he goes anywhere. But for right now, the Blazers, they got a good young core with Scoot at the helm.
And Jrue Holiday.
Yeah, Jrue Holiday. I don't think Jrue Holiday stays a Blazer though. I think he will either get traded within the coming weeks or at the deadline.
I could see that because they have so many young guards.
Yeah, exactly.
So, that's definitely.
Yeah, I just don't see Jrue Holiday staying as a Blazer. A couple suitors for Jrue Holiday are the Clippers, the Celtics, and the Warriors potentially. With the Clippers, I know they re-signed Russ. Yeah. But like he signed for like 2 years, $2 million. His contract is mad cheap.
Yeah, and I think he's at the point like he's still effective, but I don't think he's not like he's for sure not a shoo-in starter. I think he's more of like a off the bench spark plug kind of guy. I mean, he'll 100%. Still give you a lot of assists and he'll have nights where he goes off. But yeah, I think I could see that working. I mean, between him and Jrue, that would be probably the best defensive backcourt in the NBA. So.
I was really impressed with his defense in the playoffs this past year. And Jrue low-key fits the Clippers a lot because you got Paul George, a great wing defender, Kawhi Leonard, a great wing defender. You bring in Jrue Holiday. Now Zubac, he's not much of a defender, but off the bench you would have Russ, a good defender, Terrence Mann, who's a good defender. And they have Robert Covington. So that team is filled with a lot of good wing/perimeter defenders. So I like him a lot. I think the trade that might make the most sense for Jrue, though, as I hate saying this, but the Celtics, because Brogdon, he's unhappy with the organization. Oh, wow. So a couple months ago, Brogdon initially got traded for Kristaps Porzingis in a 3-team deal, but that got like rerouted to where it was a completely different player. I'm not too sure who.
I forget they got Porzingis in the offseason. And they also, obviously, they lost Marcus Smart, who was their point guard.
Exactly. So I think Boston could probably trade Brogdon, probably like Sam Hauser, a couple seconds for like Drew Holiday. And that way you bring in Drew to replace Marcus Smart. In my opinion, Drew Holiday, he's more efficient, better shooter, same level as playmaker, same level as a defender. And then you have JT and JB. And then you have Porzingis with rim protection. That's a great defensive squad with a lot of shooting. So and then you're also bringing in an actual point guard. Because right now, Brogdon, he's more of a 2.
Right.
He's not really a 1. So, and then there's the Warriors. I put the Warriors here because I saw a couple guys talking about like retrading CP3 for Drew Holiday.
Dude, that'd be crazy.
It would, but the thing is,
I just thought him and Steph in the same backcourt, Drew and Steph. That's like probably the best defensive guard and the best offensive guard.
Yeah, exactly.
In the same backcourt.
Exactly. It would be pretty crazy. But the only thing is, the Warriors will still be small though. They would still be a small team. I think their tallest player is
Kevin Looney, maybe?
No, I think it's Darius Sarge.
Really?
Yeah, Darius Sarge. He's like 6'10". And they just signed Rudy Gay, so it might be him. But yeah, Darius Sarge.
He's still in the league, Rudy?
Yeah,
he's still solid, or he's kind of... He's washed.
Yeah,
he's
washed,
like, nah.
He's washed,
because I remember, like, for over a decade ago, he was cold in 2K.
Yeah,
I was like, he's still in the league.
Yeah, I know. I was shocked too. I'm like, I saw that notification from Shams. I'm like, oh, what? I thought you were retired. I thought you were retired, but no, they signed Rudy Gay. And I'm like, okay, at least and so the Warriors, they got an old, small team.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they got. I'll be honest. I actually thought they were gonna beat the Lakers in 7, but I think y'all really exposed them last year.
Yeah, exactly.
Y'all really kind of just bullied them.
Yeah, 100%. If you look at the numbers, I think we led in rebounding every game. Yeah. We led in rebounding every single game. And we kind of had to hunt Steph on defense. Not to say Steph's a bad defender, but it's just because he's so great offensively, you want to tire him out. And so you tire him out by making him work on defense. Yeah. And so if you look at his shooting numbers reflected that too. So
and Clay and Jordan Poole kind of sold that series. In my opinion, they both played so bad. It was basically just Steph or bust.
Exactly.
If he was off, they were done.
Exactly. So yeah, Poole had a pitiful series. And I know
he's in Washington now.
He's about to average like 25 and like 30.
Yeah, no, just jack up whatever he wants because they're so bad.
What? Yeah, man. So yeah, that's. Those are like the teams I found pretty interesting that would fit Drew. And then last but not least, we're going to talk about the Suns a little bit here and what they got in the trade. So, in my opinion, they downgraded at center. And don't get me wrong, Yusuf Nurkic, he's still solid, but like he's definitely worse than Ayton. Like in all accounts, he's worse than Ayton. And a couple of days ago, I saw a report from Adrian Wojnarowski saying the Suns wanted to trade for Nurkic for defensive purposes, and I'm like, Nurkic has never been. Yeah, like he's never been like some defensive stout. You know what I'm saying? So very, very confusing. But the other guys, I like Grayson Allen. He's a shooter, a decent defender. A solid role player, a dirty work type of guy.
I thought you were going to say dirty.
Well, yeah,
he's good for a trip or two in the playoffs.
But yeah, he is kind of dirty. That's not a lie. They did get Keon Johnson.
I like him. He was really good on the Spurs. Was it last year or 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I like him too. And Nasir Little's also a young, talented player.
Yeah, exactly. A nice defensive wing to come off the bench, give you a little energy and stuff like that. And the rest of the roster is pretty fine. Obviously, they made trades for Bradley Beal, but they did get Kate Bates Diop. who's a solid wing guy. They did sign Yuta Watanabe. Yeah.
Was that the dude on the Raptors or Rockets?
No, he was on the Raptors, and then he was on the Nets last year,
Okay.
and he shot like 50% from three. But like he only shot like 2 attempts per game, but like that's still a shooter though.
Yeah,
So yeah.
You gotta count for him.
Yeah, exactly. They do have Joshua Okogie, who was on a roster last year. He's just a defender.
Yeah, he started in the playoffs, I think. They didn't have much depth, but yeah, he's a good defender. He just couldn't really score.
Yeah, exactly. And they do have Damian Lee. Now the roster overall ain't bad. I do have some questions about their depth. Like, is Bobo gonna be effective? Because last year,
he's just. I want him to be good just because he's Manu Bull's son. But
yeah, exactly.
And it's kind of a cool story. Yeah, I feel like he's just been all hype. He's kind of bounced around the league. He hasn't really been made too much of an impact wherever he's been.
He hasn't. But yeah, they do have Bobo. They did bring in Drew Eubanks. He was on the Blazers last year. But to me, their biggest pickup is definitely Eric Gordon.
I didn't even know they got him.
Yeah.
He's a bucket getter.
100%. 6'5", not 6'5". He's like a 6'3" guard, 215, strong guy, can put the ball on the floor, finish at the basket, can shoot. So the only thing with Eric Gordon is whenever he's off, you know he's off.
I was gonna say, I remember that from his Pelicans days.
Yeah.
Like there'd be some games you're like, dude, this guy is so good, and then other days you're like, please stop shooting.
Exactly. When he's off, you're gonna know he's off.
Yeah.
I remember in the Western Conference Finals in 2018.
Oh, he was a part of that. 27 missed threes.
Yeah.
He probably missed the most.
Bro, I kid you not. He was in the right wing. Shot the ball. It hit the left side of the backboard. I was like, bro, what? You a professional NBA player. How does that happen?
Now, I will say, on the Suns, when you got alphas like Booker and KD, I don't think they're going to allow that. So, if he's on, if he's on, he's on. But, yeah, if he's not, they're probably just going to pull him out the game.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
He's definitely a good addition, though, off the bench.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, that Suns roster, pretty solid. Obviously, their big three, Beal, Booker, KD, great big three. The bench, some bright spots here, but overall, we just got to see how they play together. Mm-hmm. And that's really it. In terms of title odds, real quick before we end the pod, Bucks obviously favored.
Yeah. And
then right behind them are the Nuggets and Celtics. And then last is Phoenix. I'm surprised the Lakers aren't all here.
Yeah, I would say they're probably fifth if I had to guess.
Yeah.
No, it's interesting. I think I said maybe. Now, I mean, this is early season before the season started. I think I picked Celtics, but I might have to reconsider with the Bucks. I'm not gonna go on a limb and pick anyone, but I guess I'll just stick with the Celtics. I originally said them. I think when we talked about basketball recently, maybe over the summer, but no, yeah, it'll probably be unless the Heat pull something off again like they did last year. But I don't think they have enough depth. Unless Jimmy can carry him again, but I don't know. I think that's a tall order. I think the Bucks and the Celtics are by far the two best teams in the East.
100%.
And then the West is pretty much Nuggets, Suns, Warriors, I guess Grizzlies, but
yeah,
I'll have to see it first with them. I do like Phoenix. So one thing I will say, I don't think the Nuggets are going to repeat out of the West. I think Bruce Brown's a way bigger loss than people are acting like.
Yeah.
He was like a key role player. He made a lot of clutch buckets throughout the playoffs. And they didn't really replace him with anybody like noteworthy. So that'll be interesting now. But it's not. I'm just glad the Warriors' dominance is. I mean, I don't mind them being relevant, but like when they were just winning every single year with KD, when they had KD, there's a lot of parity now in the NBA.
Yeah, I like that too.
So,
but
should be a great season.
Yeah, should be a great season. Going to Miami real quick before we close out. Yeah. I think this is like the second time Pat Riley struck out on like getting a superstar talent because they could have had Bradley Beal, but they struck out.
He's from Florida too. He played for Florida, the Gators.
Exactly.
College, so.
And they struck out on Bradley Beal, and then they struck out on Damian Lillard. And don't get me wrong, like the Heat, they've obviously had success. Like going back to 2020, they had that magical run in the bubble. They were great throughout the regular season. They got swept the next year, but in 2022 they make it all the way to the conference finals with Hero hurt and with other guys hurt, and they were a shot away from the finals. And then this past season, same thing, same script. Hero gets hurt, but yet they push through to the finals and they get bounced out in 5. So like clearly, you know, they have something going on, but they needed that one extra piece, and Pat Riley just refused to pull the trigger because I guess he's hanging on to Tyler Hero for like whatever reason. I don't know why. And don't get me wrong, Tyler Hero, he's a nice player, but like
he's good, but he's not. So based off what their lack of free, it's almost like I guess he views him as his second option behind Butler.
Yeah,
now, he's good, but I don't think he's a second option. I can see him as a 3 maybe, but
Tyler Hero is just not moving.
Yeah, you need. I think for sure they needed another bona fide star to pair with Butler because I mean he can't do it all by himself. You saw he got hurt and was playing hurt a lot in the playoffs last year too, and it still wasn't enough. Nope.
But yeah, that's really it for this week's podcast, huh?
Yeah, I think that's it. So Thursday night football, Lions and Packers. I think it's 7:15. Yeah, that's a little off topic, but and then we'll pick back up with our football podcast next week. Southeastern plays this Saturday, 3 p.m. against Tarleton State. But yeah, Dame time to Milwaukee.
Yes, sir. Dame time and the Greek Freak linking up together.
Yep.
Let's go.
Freak time. So, man, that'll do it for our Lions Den Sports podcast. I'm Chase Gispert.
And I'm Troy Allen.
And we'll catch y'all next week. All right. I had to sneak that.